Hi everyone, welcome to Stamping Play. My name is Rochelle Smith. Thank you for joining me today for this presentation. Um, it's Happy Birthday Gigs, and Gigs is celebrating its 21st birthday, so it's a great international craft show. And I thought, why not create a birthday card? And so I'm going to create um, my birthday card using some ephemera, which we have. We have some different packs in the online store at Stamping Up. And I'm going to run through, it's a bit of a process. I've got some ideas which I like to go through, and I haven't really got an exact card in mind, but got some fun ideas, and I thought it'll be nice to just show you how you can use this ephemera to create a simple card, or how I like to add layers and make it a bit extra, and how you can make it your own style and create just a little bit with extra detail using the ephemera. So it does assist you, speed up the process for uh, adding layers and things like that. But just use this to help you simplify your card making or scrapbooking or whatever project you are working on. So to start with, I have got some pieces I have got here. I've got a basic white card mat, which I'm thinking of embossing, and I'm just making sure I've got my measurements right because I wanted a smaller piece so I can layer it or like have a matte layer under. I generally like to have my smaller layer at about 9 by 13.3 centimeters or 9.5 by 13.8. It just depends, but that just gives me allowance to put one matte layer and then my card base. So I'm going to emboss this piece of cardstock with the Source Swirly embossing folder. This embossing folder is a larger embossing folder, so it's really good for creating, like if you want a slimline card like with the DL size, or for larger scrapbooking pages, you can get some nice big pieces of embossed cardstock or DSP. I will be using a stamping card and emboss machine, and you do need the larger one for this. And running it through, it's not a 3D embossing folder, so you just need your two plates with the base plate, and it gives you this beautiful swirl look, which can be used. I think it looks, in this case, to go with our birthday celebration, a little bit like icing. It could be the waves of, like the beach. Make it so to whatever card you are doing. So I'm thinking of adding maybe some blending. I love a bit of blending, and so I've got a envelope full of little pieces that I've pulled together. The first I'm going to bring is a piece of Shy Shamrock Designer Series paper. These are 6 by 6 packs we have in every single one of our colors. They come in color families. So Shy Shamrock was an in color that launched this year, and it'll be around for 2 years. In colors, there are 5 every year that come and remain for 2 years. So in these packs, you'll get your either your neutrals or your subtles. So this is my in colors for this year. I pulled out this file tab, which is the ephemera. I love that little tab section, and I thought it gave some lovely detail, and it had a bit of check pattern, which I loved, and it just adds that nice look. And I'm going to layer it with this Pretty in Pink piece of ephemera, which is from this same labels set. I'm mixing, and I've used all three of our some of our ephemera with as well. So where the file tab is, I'm thinking I'll put this sentiment, the happy, just so that it fits in that little uh, corner there, and just work your pieces around and fit and see where they go. I thought this rainbow was a bit of fun, and of course the theme of the Great International Craft Show 21, Gigs 21, is balloons. And of course, I added these balloons, pulled them out from these packs as well. I thought it was just adding a bit of fun to this card. It's a birthday. Let's add some color. And of course, the balloons are in the sky with the clouds and the rainbow. And the, the I brought in the glimmer paper and I've got a little strip and I wasn't sure how I wanted to do this, and I thought glimmer paper would be nice just to add to that celebratory feel of this card. So here I am trying to work out what I'm trying to do. I'm not sure whether I'll go horizontal, so against it, or whether I'll go behind it. It's always good to have like a bit of a longer strip when you're working, or what a large piece than you need. Then you can, let's just move it around and see what works. And now I'm going to cut into smaller pieces because I think I'm going to put it right at the back. It looked a little bit nicer there. And again, I've got it a little bit longer than I probably need, but it just gives me a bit of room to change my mind. Not sure whether I'm going to die cut this, punch it out, and putting it behind that shy shamrock piece of the stripe paper. I love the stripes, keeps it um, uh, simple and classic while we're adding all the fun bits in front. So it brings that organizational look about it while we add all the glimmer and the balloons. And this is generally how I would mess around with my cards and try things, layer things, and see how it feels. I'm adding a little bit of just trimming it with my scissors to form a banner end into one of these pieces. I think it might be nice. I'm not 100% sure how this is going to work, but banners are always fun. You always have a banner at a birthday. You know, it's sort of on that same theme. And I don't want to hide that file, the tab. I like that. So I just want that little element or that feature to be seen on my card. So I quite like that banner, and I'm going to add another banner end onto this piece of glimmer. Now, it's probably a bit too big, this piece, but we can trim it down and you can always use the leftovers later, but it just gives me, if I wanted to extend my banner, I have that extra piece. So I think I like how this is looking and how it's coming together, and the layers are working nicely. I'm keeping it fairly simple. If you wanted to, you could stamp on some of that pink, maybe a background, add some texture. I, I felt it was quite nice like this. So I'm, I'm thinking I'm going to leave it like that. I've got this cute butterfly, which also was from the pack, and this ephemera packs, and the colors go well together, and it just adds another element that's going to bring this all cohesive and just add to the festive feel of this. For my sentiment, I've got happy already, which is the die cut, which is from the sentiment pack, and now I'm going to stamp the birthday in Versamark and heat emboss it in white. I'm using the Everyday Greeting stamp set, and I like the classic, just straight, simple birthday which I can just cut out and place, and with the cursive happy and the simple birthday just brings it all together. So before you do your versa make sure you add the embossing buddy, which is part of our embossing additions toolkit. You just take the static off so that your embossing powder will just stick to the Versamark, and it does assist in getting you a nice clean image. I have stamped using the piercing mat under because it was a photopolymer stamp, and it just gives me some cushioning under that stamp. Gives you a better image. I've stamped too, but it's just in case one goes a bit wrong, which sometimes it does, or it doesn't stamp properly. And if you are doing this in when you're doing it at home, do a whole lot of the sentiments, because I find I like the white on black, the heat embossing. So do multiples, have it ready in your stamp case or in your sentiment case, wherever you're storing it. So then you can at a moment pick that sentiment and add it. I find when I create cards that for me the sentiment can be the biggest pain. Um, I don't know why. It's like it's that last thing that gets added, and it actually it can cause me the most like I have to think about it, and I'm going, oh, I've got the sentiment left to do. But if you have it all ready to go, it's easy and you can just add it on. I don't know, what do you find that you find might be some tricky parts of your card? It's not that it's, how do I say, it's probably it's that latter end and you just want the card done and nice and it's all beautiful and you've got the sentiment, and to pick just the right sentiment sometimes can be tricky. So if you've got a bunch of sentiments all ready to go, it's also handy if you're in a rush to make a card, so you don't have to heat emboss and everything like that. So I'm trimming it down. I can see that it's a, I think one of my letters is not quite, um, maybe I overheat embossed on top. It's just like if you go just that little bit over, it can look washed out. So don't over melt. And a little trick that my friend Mahaswari showed us was to use a gel pen just to cover that up. It picks up the white and saves you having to reheat emboss. It's a really neat little trick. And that's just a pen. I've got like any old gel pen you get from any stationery shop. Just trimming the edges so it's a straight sentiment, no banners or anything, because I've got my banners going on. Now I'm not sure whether to add what matte layer under the white I want, so I'm going to try and see whether I like black or some other color. So I'm kind of putting that just behind, just to see what it looks like, just this scrap piece. And I wasn't sure whether it looked too harsh. I did think of putting that happy and layering it onto black and cutting it out, but I think that was just a bit too strong, and I wanted the softness of the cursive die cut, and I just liked it like that. What I'm going to do now is ink blend, because most of my cards have ink blending and that is what I love to do. So I'm getting some Shy Shamrock, making sure I use the pretty much, I have a couple of green blending brushes, um, building up the Shy Shamrock in my blending brush. So that's what's on there, and just lightly going over the top, sort of middle right of that embossed panel. So it's going to pick up that source swirly embossing. and just add a light tinge of shy shamrock to it. It's just a little, but it'll add a nice detail and match up with the rest of your card. So I'm using my stamping blend, my black stamping blend to create, I want to create little dots, splatters, and you use your brush very gently. Mine, I have had it for ages, so I've had it from the day it arrived, so I haven't, my brush is a bit worn out from use. So if you use it carefully, you can get your beautiful splatters, and it's going to, the black really gives a nice contrast there. So let's start assembling, and I'm gonna glue this piece of shy shamrock striped paper onto my embossed layer. This pack of paper, I always like to have those packs of the base colors, which is plain, so you can use it with anything without too much it has simple patterns, so you can use it. They are really handy when you're creating. So the next, working through all my little elements I had placed together, and the first thing that's going to go down is this little file, it runs of a filing divider, and a bit of a stationery mad person that I am. I just love the cutesy look of this with those checks, and the color was just fun. You get a few, you get a couple of sets in each pack, so you, there's heaps of images. So don't feel bad like using 5 pieces of ephemera on each. You're getting tons and tons of different images um, in each pack. So um, there's a variety. There's things for kids. There's things for guys. There's great things for scrapbooking. I've seen like things, the luggage, and you could use that for a bon voyage card. I love that luggage. I love the typewriter. There's a typewriter there, and I really want to use that. So much fun little images that you could create for a myriad of occasions. So now here's the dimensionals, and tons and tons. Do you love dimensionals? I use heaps. And I'm layering and adding that. So I've added dimensionals. Now dimensionals, stamping dimensionals are our little form dots which we add under to add extra depth. I do love them. They are the best I have used, and I've used a few different brands, and they're just so easy to use, and they're sticky on both sides, so you stick one side on the image and then peel the backing, and then it sticks on. It's just really easy to get off the back of the sheet too, and lasts a while. It may not last heaps if you use it the way I do, but that's the fun of it. And I've just added those banners under. I did trim them down so you can have little bits left over the glimmer paper. Save it in your glimmer stack for something else. Again, popping some dimensionals on this pretty in pink piece, which I'm going to add. I'm going to add 2 double dimensionals on the right, so it sits flush in the sense of balanced on my shy shamrock piece. Next, we'll add our sentiment. I'm going to add it just with glue. If you have a fine tip glue pen, you can use that. I I love my Tombow. I use it for pretty much everything. My the most use it is the liquid glue, which is the Tombow. I use my dimensionals, and I use um, mini glue dots and tear and tape. So those are my four, which I use all the time. Uh, those are my favorites. I'm gonna add those balloons behind with dimensionals, and then the rainbow. How cute is that rainbow? So fun. But uh, but I'm just thinking I'm going to add some coloring on these balloons. I've just added a dimensional. But if you're doing this at home, just make sure you don't put the dimensionals. I'm doing this with watercolor pencils, just adding some shading. I'm using Daffodil Delight. I will pick colors that are closest to the balloons. Um, just adding shadow at the bottom and adding depth. It brings us more a 3D kind of look to those balloons. So this is how you can make those ephemera packs and pieces your uh, your style and suited to your project. There's a bit of granny apple green I'm using on that green balloon, and there's no balmy blue. It looks like balmy blue, and but I will use one of the blues there. There's something there, and I've also added some old olive. I felt it needed some there for a contrast. I keep my watercolor pencils in a little cup. It's just easier for me to grab rather than having it in the case it comes in and then it's put away and I don't use it. If it is there for me, I know I can easily grab it, and I use it a whole lot more when it's in this way. And much easier. Here I've gone with I it's balmy blue. I did try coarse tool. Mm, was a little bit different, but the balmy blue is a little bit darker, but that's okay. It it works and adds that shading and some pumpkin pie for the orange. Now this is totally extra stuff I do and how I like to add for my cards that just what I call, or I would say my style to this. And you could just add the ephemera as it is for some to keep it simple and quick. I like to create elevated projects, and that's you can do that with die cuts that are already there, which is the ephemera. It doesn't have to be simple. You can do that with kits. Kits are there to, for beginners or quick projects, but you can take those kits and make it your own. Bring your own style to it. Take it beyond what it's meant to do. And that's the joy of creativity. Taking a little bit of time with these balloons because the blue was taking a little bit of time to blend in, but now you can see that depth in there, and I like that little bit of shading that it gives. I'm bringing in my just a rough pad now. Add um adding a wad of paper or something with lots of notebook or something under just gives you a better blend. I should have done that earlier. It makes your watercoloring a lot easier. So but sometimes it does give blend better. I'm not sure how it's gonna work on this ephemera because of the cardstock may be different to what I generally use, and it's just probably a thinner cardstock. So I felt it was sort of leaving a bit of a mark, so I've just left it, and I'm going to add my balloons as is. I wanted to just blend it a little more, but it looks fine. And with all my other elements going on, I think those balloons with that added depth look really nice. I hope you can see the difference there. Setting some dimensionals under, and I've just added a little bit of glue under so it tucks in under the pretty in pink, that rectangular piece. Now for a butterfly, I'm going to curve the wings. You can either do it with a bone folder or just with your fingers, just manipulate a bit. And then I'm just trying to work out where to put this little heat embossed birthday sentiment. I put it up there. Sometimes you can put it across. If your happy is large enough and the birthday was small, I have done putting it right over, and you can still see both parts of the sentiment. Um, those last little layers can take a little bit of time while we work out what's just how it's going to work out. So again, I'm adding more dimensional and popping on the rainbow so it looks like the balloons are coming from behind those clouds, and then a cute butterfly because butterflies just look so nice with everything, and I think it just works with my card here. And for our celebration, it's a celebration, so it goes. Butterflies really work with lots of occasions. I've added two mini dimensionals on the smaller on the bottom half, and I'm going to curve that. Even though I've added dimensionals up the top, I'm just going to lift those uh, little wings up. What do you think? Where is this sentiment going to look better? Just at the bottom? Or I'm trying not to hide that tab, which I love so much. Um, Not too much. I still want to see that. I don't want to hide it too much. So I'm Still trying to have all my different layers visible, so you can see all the layers, and all the pretty patterns and textures there. Few dimensionals, mini dimensionals I'm using here. Now to work out what you need to work out a matte layer. I've, I'm going to move that sentiment again. I'm not sure that I'm happy with that placement. I still may be moving it again, but let's see how it works, whether I'm happy with that. And I feel right there, it just looked a bit lost in that corner. And I normally like to have my sentiment sitting in within the cluster of other elements. So somewhere so it can tie in. So it's not generally, depending on the card. Sometimes I do have a lost and lonely sentiments, lost and lonely sentiment in the, it's not lonely, but it's just in a, the way it, this sketch is, it may work nice, but just I think this cluster requires that sentiment in there. Let me know in the comments, do you love the ephemera packs? Have you used them? Have you tried ephemera packs? There's Christmas ones as well. There is a lot to choose from, and so have a look at them. They really pack a punch. There are lots of elements in them. Apologies, I just realized the camera is really close, and but you could still see a little bit there, I hope. Um, so there's the base, like the main part of our card. Let's see how a black background looks. I think the matte layer was just a bit harsh there. A black would have picked up on the sentiment, but for this festive card, I just thought I'll go with something, maybe always try different layers. Try, you never know what's going to work. And something ridiculous that might, you normally think might look ridiculous, might work. You just never know. That's why you always try it. Um, Try, if you think, oh, this color might look good. If it's not looking good against the top layer, try it as a card base and add another layer in between. Try white if all the colors aren't working. Just mix and match and see. I'm loving the Shy Shamrock. I think it's really nice. It's color I have not used heaps. I have been partial to Summer Splash. I absolutely love that color. And so I think Shy Shamrock has taken a back seat, but I do love it on this card, and I think it's a beautiful color. Getting a white card base. So for my card bases, if I'm using white, I always use thick white cardstock. It is much better. It's going to give you a more solid card. Um, Stamping up cardstock is exceptional quality. It's great for stamping, and I know when I give a card out, the number of comments I have got from friends I've given it to, especially when at Christmas time I give it to my colleagues, and they go, "It's such good quality." They can say it. They say, use the words, "It stands up on it, like it can stand up. It doesn't fall." So they're using terminology like that, where it's saying it's it's able to, it's good quality. That's just showing how good it is. It's not flimsy. So we have two types of white cardstock. I use the thick for the base. You're spending all this time on a card. Take the time to use the beautiful products and add one of our envelopes. You can see the difference in our envelopes too. If you haven't tried the stamping of envelopes, give it a try. It it looks different. The quality is different, and you will tell when you stamp it as well. So now to decorate the inside, I always got to decorate the inside and the envelope. I'm gonna add a little bit of ink blending like we did on the front on the embossing. And I'll do the same on the envelope. Bring in my black stamping blend and add my splatters. And then use some DSP, designer series paper, your pattern paper, to just the strips that you have left. I generally use like a 2 centimeter, 2.5 centimeter piece. It just depends what you have. If you don't have that size, use whatever size you have. Use your leftovers, that's no issues. It's a great way to um, use up those scraps. Of pulling up some splash here, I'm trying to find the Shy Shamrock. I keep pulling up some splash, so it's and on its own you go, yeah, it looks like that, and then I pull it out, I go, no, that's Shy Shamrock, not Shy Shamrock. Just glue that on, and I change up how I add what I add. It just depends on what I've got and what's going and what the card is. It just depends on totally on the card. With the inside of the how I decorate it. If you have the quick and easy, like if you're doing in bulk and doing several, like mass producing, definitely do stamping for insides. It's just so much quicker and it's going to give you um, quick results for those mass production sort of Christmas card kind of stuff. I've got a thin strip of Shy Shamrock cardstock and I'm going to adhere it to the bottom. I'm sure we all keep our little bits of cardstock and bits, tiny bits we don't want to throw. This is your ideal opportunity to use it. I'm doing the same thing. I'll do it on the envelope, same, replicate that with the little strip of paper, and it just, I think that little bit of cardstock just finishes it off. And I know it's the same color, but you could have, you could add a black piece if for some contrast. Um, but it just gives a completes it. So our card is complete. We have um, done the envelope, and it's nearly done. Missing some embellishments. Just need a few sparkles, so we have to add them in. I'm using this adhesive back shiny sequins. They are really, when I can't imagine how when I first saw them that I would use them so much. Then I got them and I have not stopped using them. So this pink is actually melon mambo on that. But it works in with these colors and adds some glimmer to it. So it's just adds a little bling content. So I've just added that around, sprinkle them around our card. And it doesn't look odd with the different pinks. I don't think so anyway. I like that. So that's our card complete. I hope you have enjoyed that. I will have a list for you, shopping list below for you, so you can order anything that you need. And if I can help you, please let me know. Thank you so much, everyone. Bye bye.